Hey everyone, welcome to the March Equinox pick a card reading. And of course, in the northern hemisphere, it's going to be the spring equinox. In the southern hemisphere, it'll be the fall equinox. And also March 20th, which is when that equinox happens, is going to be the astrological new year. We've gone through all of the zodiac signs. We're leaving Pisces and starting over back in Aries. So happy Aries season as well. I'll have another special video for that. That will also be coming out, of course. Now the equinox, the solstices, we are either kind of pointing away from the sun or pointing toward the sun. And that's where we have winter and, of course, summer in the different hemispheres. But now we are kind of more where the sun is on the equator, which is going to be represented with this beautiful balancing that is coming in, this equalizing, where days and nights are equal-ish compared to winter and summer, of course. So the sun can seem like it's right above the equator during that time. And again, it's this balancing where we're not tilted in one direction or the other. So this reading is going to be about, springtime is about birthing, fall time or autumn is about harvesting, things are coming to fruition. And so you're going to have a choice of 3 different pick-a-cards. The first one is going to be the caterpillar being born or the butterfly coming to fruition. Number 2 is going to be the little seedling that does grow up into a fruit tree. And then we've got like the baby or the calf or the fawn that turns and grows into the adult, into the stag. So you have choices of 1, 2, or 3. I'm going to start with number 1. All the others have the timestamp in the description box below. So if you want to jump to one of those other ones, you can do that. Otherwise, we're going to start with number 1. Hello, my Aquarians. So if you chose reading number 1, then this is for you. That's the caterpillar to the butterfly. And we're going to start off by pulling a card here from the Into the Lonely Woods deck and to see what is going to be on one half of the balancing that's going to be happening here. Just one more time here. There we go. So for our Aquarians that chose number 1, what would you like them to know is on the one side? Okay, actually they want just this one right here. There it goes. It's being stubborn. And you have the Lonesome Gardener. Beautiful card there. Huge pumpkin, and that's card number 5, which 5s are about transformation and changing of points of view, which is very Aquarian energy. It says you're learning the joy of tending to something wild until it becomes something giving and warm, just as you are now. Your care and attention have given something new the space to grow and become abundant. This is now reflected in your soul. Look within and see how what you helped nurture in the world is now growing within you. Where once all felt barren and unknown, there is fertility and connection. You turned away from the voice of the world and listened instead to the wisdom of the growing world. Because of that, all is blossoming and rich and verdant once again. You have made the wasteland a paradise. You've sown the seeds from which blessings can now come forth. Beautiful. So I love that being one side, because that is very much the 2 energies, which we'll see with the other energy here that's being balanced here. But it's like this side is either that wasteland feeling that you felt you had been kind of just sitting and waiting and you didn't see anything growing, and then suddenly from under the ground a sprout comes up. You know how like when you plant little seeds in a garden or in a pot and you're watering it, but nothing's coming up, and you're like, did the seeds die or what's going on? And then suddenly, seemingly overnight, it's like, there's this, big long stem sticking above the ground. But we're going to pull for this other side here to see what else is balancing during this 3-month period. And we're going to pull from this Earth Magic Oracle cards. Just see what's on the other scale here. All right, there we go. So for our Aquarians that chose number 1, what do you have to know is on the other side of this balancing scale? Okay. And you have the clouds, the shape-shifting. And I like this, yeah, so I really feel, and they don't want me to read the meaning in the book on this one, because what they're showing here is exactly what I was talking about, how, you know, the clouds are there, the rain comes, it's like all the seasons that are happening here. This was the waiting, this was the, you know, even after you harvest and you have to wait for the winter, and then, you know, spring comes and it's like, okay, now is the time to plant. And then, like we were talking about, you're waiting for something to grow still. It seems like it's taking forever. And then suddenly it sprouts, and then summer comes and things grow rapidly, and then the harvest comes again, right? So I really feel like that is what is going on here. So this is the waiting, the clouds, the process that it takes for have everything to grow. And then this was like the harvesting. This is the stuff that you're finding is growing in your life. We're of course going to dig in more into this, and we're going to first pull cards from the Black Tarot. And this is going to represent messages from your shadow, which your shadow is your friend. It's a part of you. It's like your tour guide on this human experience. It does keep us in the game, but it also wants to help us through the game because they're the game master for our life. And so where, like up here would be like the stuff you're conscious of and you're aware of. The stuff down here is what's underneath the surface. This is the subconscious stuff. This is the programs that are still running behind the scenes that are still impacting us in our world. We're just not conscious of them. And that's what your shadow is going to bring forward, is what right now will be helpful for them to let you know about this. So for our Aquarians, okay, that shows reading number 1. And okay, yep, so you have 4. So that is what they want to show you here. So let me we'll start here and work our way down the little pile. Yeah, perfect. So you have the 3 of Wands. Wands is your drive, your ambition, your aha, inspiration, your passion. It can be your spiritual energy and just your energy overall. And the 3 of Wands really is about this change of how you're using your energy, where you're directing your energy. You can think of like the Ace of Wands would be like this new passion, maybe the planting of a new seed, right? And then the 2 of Wands is the planning, making all these steps on how you're going to put that passion into action. What are the steps that you're going to do to help share that with the world? And then you're doing that, and then like anything in our life, right? You're never going to go on a straight line to something. It's like, well, I don't want to necessarily go that way. I've gone this far, but now I want to change direction and go in a different place. So there is this change that is bubbling underneath you, where what you thought you wanted to grow in your life isn't where you're wanting to grow. That was someone else telling you that they wanted you to grow that, and it was like a supposed to, a should, a need to, or something in your life. But you are having this urge underneath to change directions, and that's where that's coming from. Yeah, and here's the Emperor. So the Emperor is all about control and about being the ruler of your life and taking command of where you want to go and what you want to do. So this definitely fits in here with the direction that we were talking about with that 3 of Wands, that you have this, I want to call it an anger. It's like this courage. That's a better word. Courage inside. You're just like, you know what? I'm tired of living someone else's dream or helping other people live their dreams, but I'm not living my own. I feel like my life, I'm going into this existing mode, but I'm ready to have something grow in me, for me, and something that you're passionate about in your life. Yeah, and here's your Ace of Swords. So this is giving you the power here. Swords are your thoughts, your beliefs, your mindsets, your attitudes, your expectations. And it does two things. First, the Ace of Swords helps you connect to that higher realm, connects you to the capital T truths, your soul truths, which with what we're talking about here, this would be that you are discovering what you truly want and what you truly believe in life. The other thing that the Ace of Swords does is it empowers you to cut away those thoughts and beliefs that no longer serve you. So those would have been all those thoughts and beliefs of, this is what you're supposed to do with your life, what you should do, where you have to be with this type of person, you have to have this type of house, blah, 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 blah. So it's like your entire life almost has this rules around it, all those supposed tos, and just takes the wind out of your sail. But this allows you to cut away those thoughts and those beliefs that they served you for a time, because you did come here to feel trapped and to feel all those, delicious emotions of fear and uncomfortable emotions that are not of unconditional love in yourself. And having experienced those, obviously you're at a point in your life now where you're like, I am ready for something new, and this is helping you with that. And then you have the Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, and actually I was thinking about this Seven of Pentacles when I saw this Three of Wands. Because the Seven of Pentacles is about patience, that when you plant something and it's growing, like everything we talked about at the beginning of this reading, it takes time for it to grow, and then you'll see fruit growing on the tree, and you're like, okay, it's not ripe yet, but it's coming along very slowly and surely. But there's another side of the Seven of Pentacles, which is about you seeing the fruit grow, and you're like, you know what? I remember that I planted an apple tree, and now that I see the apples growing, I'm like, I really don't want apples. I have a friend next door that has an orchard of apples. They give me all the apples I want. What I really want to grow is an avocado tree. So now I'm going to stop investing in that apple tree, and I'm going to plant an avocado tree instead. And that's, this change that we're talking about with what you're planting and what you're wanting to see in your life. We're also going to pull cards here from the Naked Heart Tarot. And these are going to represent messages from your higher self, from the Creator, from Spirit, from all that posse of beings of unconditional love and light that are your support team on the other side, your guardian angels and spirit guides, your loved ones who've lived here in this life with you and have returned home, and your ancestors who you've never met in this lifetime. Any of those beings of unconditional love and light, this is from them, where this is from your shadow side, this is from up above, from the heavenly realm. So they do want that one right there. In our Aquarians, that shows reading number 1. Our butterflies, caterpillars to our butterflies. Okay, so let's look at this one first. And here is the Star card. So this does represent your higher self. This is who you are. You are a superstar. And I love how this fits into this too, because this is like a sign of hope. Aquarian energy is you. I mean, this is you. This is an Aquarian reading. This is you. This represents the Aquarian. I mean, you can even see your little symbol up here if you look really close. And so this represents being true to yourself. It's a sign of hope, and which, when you're waiting for stuff to sprout, of course, you're like, oh, please, please, please let her go. And it's like, yes, you don't worry about it. That anything that happens and unfolds in your life is happening for you. You're the star of your own show. So this is about being authentic to your true self and expressing yourself in the world. So you have permission to do that. It's not just your shadow self trying to play a trick on you or anything. They're giving you the real truths of the spiritual world, and they're wanting you to express this unique being that you are. Aquarian energy, like I talked about in the beginning, is about doing things in a different way, where old ways, we've outgrown it and we're ready for new ways to do things, new ways to look at things as well. So this is perfect for you. And then you have the Eight of Swords. Like I talked about with this Ace of Swords down here, this is all about your thoughts, your mindsets, your beliefs, your expectations. And the Eight of Swords, you can see how it's like trapping in this rose where it feels confined. I was talking about earlier how all those small t truths, all those rules about everything, this is that awareness that comes from it. The eights in the suits are very much about understanding the difference between two things. It's moving up to a new level. And so this is moving to a new level in your thoughts and beliefs, and in recognizing that it hasn't been the outside world that's been restricting you. They have their opinions, of course. They've been feeding you all those expectations with the shoulds and the supposed tos and the need tos and the have tos, but we're the ones that took it on as our own belief system. We have the power of choice. We are the ones who get to discover that we get to decide what anything means in our life. We are the ones that get to decide what we feel in any situation. And I know in the beginning you're like, what? You're saying that all my feelings and everything that I went through in my life was because I was thinking that way and I had these certain beliefs? And I'm like, yeah, I hate to be the bearer of that news if that's the first time you're hearing it. But give it a moment, take some deep breaths, and then realize how empowering that is. Because you get to decide from this moment forward consciously what anything means to you, any situation that comes your way, any emotion you're going to feel. And so this is kind of this awareness that allows you to be yourself, because you realize, you know what was holding me back before were my beliefs about what will people think if I don't do what they said I was supposed to be doing and all that. And it's great because it's what frees you, right? Yeah, because then you have the Seven of Cups. So you had the Seven of Spheres or the Seven of Pentacles here, and here you have the Seven of Cups. I'm going to put this one above that. The sevens matching up, because the Seven of Cups, you can see how Mr. Giraffe has his head in the clouds up here. It's because he's confused about the emotions that he is feeling about how he's supposed to be looking at things. You know, like the Seven of Pentacles was, well, do I want to, continue to invest my energy in the outside world in that direction, or do I want to change directions? The Seven of Cups is, how do I want to feel? And as you're discovering this empowerment, like we talked about, this is like, wait a minute, you mean I can feel any way I want to feel about any situation? So you have this stuff that's been happening in your life that you wanted to feel a certain way, like when you let your guard down and something happened and you're like, oh, I'm going to feel this way about it, and people are like, oh, no, you need to feel upset about that. You don't need to, you don't get to feel good about that. You need to feel upset. And so there was this conflict that happened within you around your emotions in the past. And you're really, that's what's spawning some of this too, is like, you're like, wait a minute, I get to decide what I feel. This is how you learn. You get to decide what you believe. This is how telling you get to decide how you feel. And then you have the Tower. And this is perfect for you for this period of your life. Don't be afraid of that card. It's beautiful, and there's a story that goes with this. Because it starts really with the Wheel of Fortune card, which says that before you came down here, your higher self, your real self, that actor behind this physical character that you're playing, it decided when it was going to come down here and when it's going to leave. It decided that it wanted to have you be its avatar in this game, for you to be the character that it portrays in this movie. And you are that little piece of your huge self that's walking upon this earth. And then it decided all the fated events that it wanted to experience in life. And like I was talking about, it's perfect, because one of the big things you realize is that all these events that are happening and coming into your life are happening on purpose for a purpose. You're not on this out of control drama train that's about to leap off the tracks and blow up somewhere. You're more of on like a train that's attached to the tracks, like a monorail. And, at Disneyland or Disney World, it's attached and it moves smoothly, has all its stops, and it's that more safe feeling that your life is not out of control. It actually is very controlled, with this Emperor energy too. It's like this controlled feeling that you have. The other thing that the Wheel of Fortune teaches you is that within each of those fated events, you get to choose what story you put to it and what emotion you're going to feel. So this is very much reiterating that, and that's why they want me to, put these on either side so that the Tower card fit right nicely in between these two, because it does tell you, the Wheel of Fortune anyway tells you that you get to choose what story you put to anything that happens, what emotion. And then you get to the Tower card, and the Tower card basically is one of those fated events that's been going on in your life, which could be a relationship of some kind, whether that's romantic or family or friend or work or with your feather babies, your fur babies, whatever it may be. Or it could be a situation that you're in, like a job or education, some sort of circumstance that you're in. Or it could be something about a possession, like a home, a car, or whatever possessions. It could be about your body. It could be about your bank account. Something that's been going on in your life has been in your life on purpose for a purpose. But for you to experience the next fated event, this thing needs to be removed. And that's what this lightning bolt happens, and it sets this tower, the tower, on fire and burns it down to make room for the new to come in. So, which is kind of fitting with, we're talking about, this change here. Maybe this is the apple tree that gets burnt down so that you're like, oh, well, I didn't really want an apple tree anyway. Now I'll dig that up and I'll plant an avocado tree in place of that. That's that scenario we talked about. But the Tower also brings a beautiful message, of course, is that anything that gets removed out of your life is being removed for you. Your life is not happening to you. Your life is happening for you. And both the Wheel of Fortune and the Tower tell you that that life is not happening to you. So you move from this victim role into life is happening for you and into a victor role. And so it does transform your life, and it changes how you look at those things. So as you're waiting and having this growth been happening during these 3 months, you are going to be looking at what it is that you really want, because these are about a change in course and being authentic to yourself and allowing yourself to make this change, to make this transformation into what you're desiring, and then it comes to fruition. But it's all happening within you, because your life isn't going to happen from the outside in. It's not like suddenly your outside world starts to unfold the way you secretly, deep under your subconscious wants to live and express itself. No, you do the inner side, and this bright star that you are starts to shine, and then it reflects out into the outside world, and you start to see that in the outside world. We're also going to pull at least one card here from the Divine Directions and just see what else the Creator wants you Aquarians that chose reading number 1 to know. The caterpillar to the butterfly. And of course it takes time for the caterpillar to go through its experience, and then it goes into the cocoon and it transforms who it is, comes out the other side, that beautiful butterfly, right? Whoa, okay. These two, okay. So you get 5, actually 6, oh my goodness. All right, so we're gonna start with this one here. Okay, so wait. So everything we talked about there. Take time to think about the matter at hand. Don't be tempted to rush. So I'm going to put this one here, because this is what this was all about. Waiting and seeing what unfolds, what comes out of the ground, and waiting to jump on and continuing because you are digging in to what you're really wanting out of life, right? And then I feel like we want to go to this strength card next, which says you have an enormous amount of strength and courage. Remain focused, stand tall, and shine, which I'm going to put above your star, because we talked about that, right? Just seconds ago, about shining, finding out who you are deep down inside and allowing that to shine out into the world, right? Then, of course, we've got balance. This is what this whole reading was about, right? It's time to find balance in your life. What is most important to you? So this is really, gosh, so much of this is reiterating what we talked about, right? Because this is what is most important to you, not what's most important to everyone else. Because that's what has you in this situation that you're in, right? This trapped rose. You are ready to find out what is truly important to you and to bring that out, right? And then you have proud. That says be proud of who you are, where you've been, and where you're going. Yeah, definitely. I love this. Actually, I'm going to put this above the tower here, because I really feel like they're saying don't have regrets about your life. About, oh, look at all the time I wasted growing that apple tree. I could have had like 2 avocado trees by now. It's like, no. You needed the apple tree experience to find out what it feels like to not live your dream, to live someone else's dream, to have fruit come and you go, it's okay. I'm not really wanting that. I want something else. So this is about, don't look back at all those other past fated events as something that shouldn't have happened, because your higher self, your true authentic self, wanted to experience those things on purpose, for a purpose. So there's no wasted moments, nothing to be, ashamed of, nothing to regret, okay? And then you have energy. And that says, try to keep a positive energy by surrounding yourself with positive people. So I really like this one about, what are you focusing on? Where you invest in your energy? What are you choosing to have around you? And actually, I want to put this one over here, because this is like, what are you feeding yourself? What kind of weather and environment are you putting yourself in? When you discover what you're wanting to do, don't surround yourself by individuals and things that make you doubt yourself and not live your authentic self. Surround yourself, feed your eyes and your ears and your nose and your mouth and your touch, all those things, and your sixth sense, your spiritual energy connecting to the higher realms. Focus all of that on what you do want in your life, not on what you don't want in your life. Because if you focus on, well, I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that, all your energy is feeding that and making that grow. So focus on what you do want, because that's what will grow in your life. Yep, and here you go. You have signs. That says your past loved ones are never far from you. Notice the signs they send you. So this is a great message just from all of, like we talked about, all that posse of support of you on the other side. Just know that if you were, wondering if your mother or father or grandparent, someone in authority that you really looked up to in your life that are no longer here, if you're wondering, are they proud of me? They are very proud of you. Regardless of anything that you do, they have unconditional love for you. There's nothing you can ever do to let them down. There's nothing you can do to impress them more than you're already impressing them now, because they are in awe of you, because they are able to feel every single emotion you have felt since you were conceived. They know every decision you made, every thought you've had, every experience. They've seen it all, and there's no judgment on their part. It's pure love, pure support, and that goes for everyone on the other side, including your guardian angel and your angels and your spirit guides, the creator spirit, every being on that other side supports and loves you so much. So you've got a great team behind you that will support you in expressing your authentic, beautiful, unconditional love with the world. So boom. Right, well, I'm going to leave the reading there. I do want to let you know, in addition to these readings, I also produce monthly readings for each of the zodiac signs, weekly energy updates for each of the elements like fire signs, air signs, etc. Also new moon, full moon, and a few other types of readings and videos. So if you don't want to miss out on any of those and get notified immediately when they become available, if you give this video a little thumbs up and click the like button, also click the subscribe button, and that will give you access to this notification bell. And when you go in there, if you just select the all option, then you'll be notified of any video that comes out on this channel. Also, doing any of that helps spread the love, because when you like a video, you share a video, you comment on a video, or you subscribe to a channel, the YouTube algorithm just gets so happy that it wants to share the videos with other people as well. So if you feel inspired to do any of that, I greatly appreciate any of that. Also, these are general readings. If you want even a more specific reading for your life, I do offer personal readings, and all that information is in the description box below. All right, all my Aquarian caterpillars and butterflies, please know that as you go throughout each and every second of every day of your life, that you are unconditionally loved by the creator of all things and that posse of beautiful support. And of course, I love you too. Have an amazing equinox period, and sure, I'll be talking to you very soon though. So until then, you take care. All right, all my Aquarians, if you chose reading number 2, which is the seedling to the fruitful tree, then this is the reading for you. We're going to start off by pulling a card from this Into the Lonely Woods deck. This is just going to represent one half of the scales here to see what is going to be coming into balance over the next 3 months during this equinox period. Okay, and one more time here. There we go. All right, so for our Aquarians that chose reading number 2, what would you like them to know about that side of the balancer here? Here is your card. And that is 24 between two worlds. Yeah, so this is kind of feeling like you're in this waiting period, like you feel like you'll never get to the other side. And we'll also see here what other message comes with that. Pretty much makes sense. So yeah, sometimes the gulf between the old world and the world yet to come feels like a chasm. It doesn't feel possible to bridge that gap to somehow make it to the other side. So for a while, we slump and go into ourselves in the denying and destructive old ways. And just at this point, a sign will appear. The scent of flowers, bird song, the colors of dawn, something will give you birth to hope in your heart. And suddenly the gap will not seem so huge. The waters you must cross do not seem so deep, nor do they feel dangerous. And within a shorter while than you think possible, the old and the new will be bridged, and you will walk into your next life within this lifetime. So I love that, and especially the mention of hope in there, because, of course, the Aquarian card in the major arcana in the tarot is the star, which represents hope. And so I feel, of course, we're going to see what the other energy is here in just a second, but there's this energy, of course, like you said, that despair feeling like I'm never ever going to get there, but then there's the hope and then the fruition of the bridge, that is taking you to where you're wanting to go. But we're going to look and see what the other side here that they want you to be looking at, being aware of what's balancing during these 3 months. We're going to pull a card here from this Earth Magic Oracle to see what's on the other side of the scale. And one more time. All right, so for our Aquarians that chose card number 2, okay. And you've got the ocean, the ebb and the flow. And they don't want me to read the description in this one because they're saying, obviously, there's this correlation between these two, right? This is the ocean that feels like it's in between those two. It doesn't even feel like it's a small gap, right? It feels like there's this entire ocean that's standing in between where you're at and where you're wanting to head off to. And so the ebb and flow is part of our, growth and part of our journey. But this ocean is the despair piece. This is the one that feels like so far away. But I love that they both kind of have this message, because the ebb and flow is that there's a season for everything. There's a season for when the water comes in and for when the water does recede and go back out, right? But this side is representing that feeling of despair, and this represents the hope and the fruition that things will unfold. We, of course, are going to dig in deeper here. And we're going to start off by pulling from the Black Tarot. And these are going to represent messages from your shadow. And your shadow is like your tour guide in this human life. They're the game masters, the one that keeps us in this game and takes us on the tour through this amusement park of fear rides that we have here. But they also bring us very important truths, because they also understand what's going on in our subconscious. If this is the conscious world, the things we're aware of, the information we know, our wisdom and our knowledge, there's all this stuff that's in our subconscious that's still running. The programs are still running and spinning and cycling, and they still impact us. We don't see them because the program's been minimized. And so this is behind the scenes. It's under the surface. So this is going to be what the shadow wants you to know, what your shadow wants you to know about what's going on in your subconscious world here. For all of you that chose reading number 2, I feel like there's one more. Yep, okay. So we'll start off with this one over here. And you have the 3 of Cups. Now, cups are your emotions. And the 3 of Cups can represent joy and celebration and merriment, but it also has a special meaning for me from all of my spirit guides and my posse on their side. And this represents them. This represents all of those beings of unconditional love and light that are on the other side. All your loved ones who've been here living with you and are back on the other side already, your angels, your guardian angel, your spirit guides, your ancestors, of course, the creator and spirit, and any of those other beings of unconditional love and light, they are there. And so in your subconscious, what's really bubbling underneath you is this beautiful energy of support and nudging, and they are wanting you to reach this point. But this part of this journey of going across this bridge, that is what takes the time. That's what takes the faith. That's what takes the hope. And they just want you to know that they are there with you. You are never alone. Even in those times where you do feel like you're on this island by yourself, you have this huge support team that has that drawbridge ready for at that exact time that you guys had discussed before you came down here, when that drawbridge will be lowered and that connection will be made. But you came here for this ebb and flow experience. You do want to experience those times where the water has been, receded, but you also came here especially to feel like when that tsunami comes into the shore and causes all sorts of chaos in this organized life that you think you had everything so much under control, right? And it's beautiful. It's all part of it, but they want you to let you know that it's all happening on purpose for a purpose. There's not a step that's happening by accident. Everything is perfectly designed for you. So just have faith in that. And then you have the 10 of Spheres, which would be the 10 of Pentacles. And that is about super abundance. You have everything that you need already inside you. Everything that we're experiencing in the outside world is, it gets disappointing because everything is temporary out there, right? But this 10 of Pentacles does have this satisfaction, this drive that's in your subconscious about wanting to have all this abundance, wanting to feel this wholeness and this completeness in your life, right? And then we will move into here, and you've got the Four of Wands. And you can kind of see here, see all those steps going up to the next level? That's like the bridge. That's this bridge, right? And the Four of Wands, Wands is your drive, your ambition, your inspiration, your passion. It's your spiritual energy and your energy overall. And the Four is a very solid foundation. Think of like a table with four huge legs on it. It's a very strong, solid foundation. So there is this energy, this confidence that is in your subconscious, because what you're experiencing, a doubt in the conscious world, there's this strength that's deep down inside, where this almost feels like a story sometimes, where you're like, oh, I'm not sure about the future. And it's like, when it comes down to it, it's like if someone goes, well, yeah, you never know, you probably won't be able to do that. And you're like, wait a minute, no, I will. Because you really have this knowing deep down inside that you can get to wherever you're wanting to go, right? But the doubt that we are playing with in our conscious world is being counteracted by this courage and this confidence that you have in the subconscious world. And then you have the Six of Cups. So cups are your emotions, and the Six of Cups is called the nostalgia card. And so this does speak of, in your subconscious, memories and of emotional memories of disappointments. And that doesn't necessarily mean disappointments, but I feel because of what this story is unfolding over these 3 months for you, that these memories are about disappointments. It's about things that you were promised that you were not given, whether it was a parent saying they were going to do something for you and then they weren't able to, and so you felt this disappointment. Again, I don't know why I have this picture in my head of family vacation, Chevy Chase, when they went to Wally World, or I think it was Wally World, and they got there and it was closed for repairs. It's like, oh, it's that disappointment. But there's things that happen in your life through relationships and situations and things that left you with this doubt, right? And that's what's kind of bubbling underneath here as well. And we'll dig in more here, of course, with these Naked Heart Tarot, and where these are the information coming from your shadow. This is the information that comes from your Three of Cups posse in the upper, higher heavenly realms, right? The higher realms. And so these will be the messages from them around this situation. Let's give these a little shuffle. And one more time. All right, so what else do you have for our Aquarians? Okay, I do want to that one. What else? Okay, I do want those two. Okay, so they want to move that one over there, and they want these four here. And normally they don't want two, but of course they do want, okay, and you get two for there. Okay. There's just no set way when it comes to spirit. They want to communicate how they want to communicate, and they're going to save these for last. We're going to start on this one here. Yeah. So here's the Magician. So yeah, definitely the Magician is telling you you have everything that you need within you. The Magician usually has his wand toward the heavens, raised to the heavens in one hand, pointed at the earth. And it's all about, you have the ability to bring this amazing gift that you have within you down from the heavens through this human body and into the world. You have, that's the infinite self here expressing itself, and you have the swords and the wands and the pentacles and the cups here. So you have everything that you need within you already, like we talked about with that Ten of Pentacles. You've got everything you need within you to have this thing happen in the world. So it's just this process of discovering it. Now they're showing me the Wizard of Oz, how the lion thought he needed courage, the scarecrow thought he needed a brain, the Tin Man thought he needed a heart, and Dorothy thought she needed to go home, or needed the power to be able to go home, the magic. And it's like, you always had it within you all along, is kind of the message to that story. And that's what they're telling you here, is you have everything that you need within you already, and it's just discovering that. Then you have the Three of Pentacles. This is awesome, because the Pentacles is your outside world, and the Three of Pentacles brings this message to be your own authentic self and express yourself authentically in the world. Normally, the standard tarot, you'll see like someone working on some sort of artistic project, like a painting or something in a cathedral. And in some cards, there'll be someone standing behind them and someone in front of them. And the person standing behind them kind of represents this person that's the naysayer, going, you'll never make it, you can never do any of that. And that can be some of these emotional memories too. Someone saying you'll never amount to anything, and so you constantly have that whisper in your ear. And those naysayers, you're like, push them out, push them away from out of your zone, that negativity, out of your inner circle. Then the person standing in front of you, as children, we love the praise. Some of us like the punishment, because that was the only attention that we could get, right? But majority of us like the praise, regardless, right? And so when someone's supporting us and supporting our dream and supporting the project that we're doing, we're like, yes, thank you, but they can almost draw us off our authentic path even more than the naysayer, because we know about the naysayers. It's like, it's so obvious what you're trying to do, and you're just jealous or you're fearful or whatever, and I don't need that. But it's the person who's supporting you that might go, I'm so proud of what you're doing, and you're going to be so successful at this, and it really shows your talents, but have you ever thought of doing it this way? And we don't want them to go into that naysayer camp, right? We don't want to lose that praise and have it turn into punishment of some sort, be rejected. And so we might alter our authentic, like we're wanting to do this, but we're like, well, I don't want to lose them, so I will move off of my path a little bit for the sake of that. So this card is bringing that awareness. It is telling you to, the threes are about creativity. Be yourself, express yourself as authentically as you can, and don't look to the outside for your validation, because again, you have everything that you need within you to make this thing to come to fruition, okay? And then you have the Seven of Pentacles. And the Seven of Pentacles actually came out in the first reading too. And so the Seven of Pentacles does have this, you start to see fruit, start to bear in the tree that you planted, and you are the seedling becoming the fruit tree, right? So this is so fitting if you chose reading number 2, because that is the representation for the second reading. But there is this, fruition. When you start to see the fruit grow, you understand that it does take time for things to unfold. That, you've been feeding it, you've been watering it, you've been giving it Miracle Grow and whatever, and it takes time still. That fruit is not going to ripen any faster than it's going to do it, and there's nothing you can do about it. But the Pentacles is the outside world, and so it is letting you know that it takes time for things to unfold in the external world. You're doing this inner work, but it takes time for the outer to get and catch up with you, because we change from the inside out, not the world doesn't change from the outside in, right? It's even when you're trying to change the world, it's like you can't change the world, because if people are reflecting and seeing what they see in their heart out in the world. And so the way that the world changes is by individual changes of heart, and then the world changes because it changes from the inside out. So when people are trying to change all these things, it's like you gotta activate the heart of people to see what they truly want to express into the world, instead of trying to force people to do things, because none of us like to be told what to do. Right? And then you have movement of cups. So this would be the Knight of Cups, which is about movement of emotion. It is about this change. And I love that it comes here above this Six of Cups. So this is this awareness here. And I think we're going to talk about that with these two cards. They're telling me that these beliefs that you're dealing with, that you've had from the past, these emotional memories, that you have movement, you have the change of them. And how that changes is this Ace of Cups here. All of the royalty in the cup suit have that. And the Knights, you can kind of think of it as the Knights always have this quest. They're always looking and searching and really energetically pursuing that quest. And the quest of the Knight of Cups is to obtain the Holy Grail, to obtain the chalice which holds the living waters, the unconditional love of the Creator of all things. And so this search for that, they're telling you you have it inside of you already, because there's the Ace of Cups right here, right? They already told you that you have everything that you need within you, and there's that Ace of Cups. So you are on this search, and you have been searching for this love in your life, but you're going to find it within you. And let's take a look here. Yeah, so you've got the Heart of Pentacles, which would be the Queen of Pentacles. And yep, okay, makes total sense. And the Three of Swords. So I love that this deck is called the Naked Heart Tarot, because this represents the external world. You know, Pentacles and the Heart of Pentacles is the love of the outside world. This is not the standard meaning of this card, by the way. I'm totally reading this and channeling the message for this. So if you look it up, don't go, well, that's not what that means. This is what Spirit wants it to mean for your reading, because these are coming out together. The heart of course is your heart, and the Pentacles is the outside world, and this is your search for love in the outside world, which then you have the Three of Swords, which that represents expectations, because swords are our thoughts, our beliefs, our mindsets, our attitudes, and these are the expectations. This represents the pain that happens, which we're going to put this like this. This represents the pain that you felt in the past when you were looking for this love in the external world, and all you were finding was disappointment. Because heartache, our hearts, our true hearts, can never be broken. We can never really be in pain in our higher self, our spiritual, eternal self. But down here on earth, we came down here to experience what it might feel like to be disappointed, what it might feel like to be heartbroken. And our heart breaking is actually when we have fear prick our heart, and we either, feel like that we have a fear we'll never be loved again, or that we're unlovable, that we're rejectable, we're worthless, all those emotional memories coming up. And it can be that I'm never going to amount to anything, whatever those fears that happened. These are all of them, and it's based on our mindsets. It's based on these small t truths that we've been fed in our life, that, based on praise and punishment, like we talked about, right? And about everything, all these popular opinions that people told us on what things should mean, who we should be, how we're supposed to act, how we're supposed to be successful, all those supposed to's, need to, shoulds, have to's, and musts. Those are all the small t truths of the human experience. They are not the capital T truths of the higher realm. They are not, because this Ace of Cups that you're searching after, that Holy Grail, is filled with unconditional love from the Creator, the Mother and Father, the King and Queen of all things. They love us unconditionally. So there is no condition to ever lose their love. And there's nothing that we have to do to gain it or more of it, because we have it all right now. And so this pursuit allows us to experience what it might feel like to experience conditional love, love that can be lost, And that's all a farce. That's all for this play. That's all for this game that we're in. It can't be. You know, it's like playing a video game and, you know, your character gets killed in it. It's like, it didn't really die. Reboot. There I am again. You know, you, the player, the actor behind the character, you are eternal and you never, ever truly die or ever truly in pain. You're just down here for this experience. And so this is happening on purpose for a purpose. And it's the understanding of these old emotions, the transformation of these old emotions happens when you realize that every moment is either of unconditional love or the fear of losing conditional love. Any action of ours is one or the other. And so when you're looking back over these emotional memories that were so hurtful and painful, we realize that if their action was not of unconditional love, then it was of fear of losing conditional love. And when our human side goes into fear, we go into fight or flight mode, right? When this prick happens in our heart and we go, this, you know, blood rushes from our brain and different parts of our body to go to our arms and legs to fight and to run. We're filled with adrenaline. So we actually are literally out of our minds because the blood rushes from our brain, and our human survival instinct does not want us to stand there and think while a giant animal chomps on us. It wants us to react instead. And so you can look back at those situations and go, oh, so they were in fear. They were out of their mind, number 2, right? Number 3, they were in reactionary mode. They were not having the intelligence to do those things. And so it wasn't personal. They were just feeling out of control. The little child in them was feeling out of control, and it was trying to gain control in whatever way it thought it could, whether it was some sort of abusive way, some sort of unfeeling way, you know, whatever it might have been, they were literally out of their minds. And you probably have witnessed it, you know, in others, that they're normally very calm and very well thought out, but something triggered them and they acted like someone that you didn't even know, right? And that's kind of, you know, what we're able to do is look at it and see like, okay, it wasn't really personal. They were out of their minds. They were in this little storm inside their head going on, and they did not intentionally try to do anything. They were just feeling unsafe, trying to find safety again. They were in fear, trying to get out of fear. And so you start to look at the situation differently with that information, and you start looking at them a little differently, and most importantly, you start looking at yourself a little differently, right? And then this one over here, above your dreams coming true, yeah. So Spirit of Swords is the King of Swords, which really represents Aquarius. This is air energy. You are an air sign. This is the King, the Spirit. He has the Ace of Swords here, over here, which allows him to cut away these small t truths, because it also allows you to grasp on to those higher truths, the capital T truths of the higher realm. So this allows you to overcome this and to look past these old beliefs that you've had that were formed by that praise and punishment and by all those experiences, to really have your dreams come true, because you have the Ace of Swords here, right? And for your final message, we're going to pull from at least one card from these Whispering Woods, because you are going from this seedling to this very abundant fruit tree. And so what would you like? What's your final message for our Aquarians? That shows reading number 2, please. Okay. What else? Okay. What else? I think one turned over there. Did it? Yep. Is that it? Okay. And last pass. Any others? Nope. So none of those. So you've got all yours turned over here. We'll start off here with the woods. And it says, be like the woods, calm, soothing, mysterious, and full of life. Yes, we'll put that there in the middle. Of course, you have renew. This says, nature continually renews itself year after year. So that is this ebb and flow that we kind of talked about here too, about there's cycles in the physical world, right? That we have all the seasons that happen where you have spring where you plant seeds, and then summer it grows, and then autumn you have the, the harvest, and things, leaves and fruit start to drop off of things to the ground, and they start deteriorating and go into the ground, and then winter comes with moisture and snow and stuff, and that pushes all that nutrients down into the ground to make beautiful ground for planting in spring again. So there is this process, this renewal that happens, but I really feel like this is this renewal of these old memories that you're talking about, that there are things that happened. There was a season for them, but they're dying now, and they're becoming this beautiful, fruitful ground for this, what you planted and what's going to be coming to fruition. And then you got teach. And that says, inspire others and let nature be your greatest teacher. Yes. So yeah, definitely what we were just talking about with all this beautiful information that comes through this ebb and flow of life, and looking at nature in the outside world. There's so much of it that has so much information. If we get quiet and still and look at that, we can definitely see, these wonderful, like especially the seasons, every like the tree doesn't go, oh God, here comes winter. It's like, hey, here comes winter again. I've seen how many seasons for how many years of, especially when trees are so huge and they've been around for 100 years, 1,000 years. They've seen so many seasons. They're like, it's just a season. It'll end. It comes and it goes. It always has, And so I love that this is letting you know that there has been a season for what you went through, but it's time for that season to transform into something so much different than you've seen before. And definitely you have everything that you need within you to make this dream come true, this way that you want to express yourself to the world come true. So I am loving this. I'm going to leave the reading there. I do want to let you know that in addition to these readings, I also do monthly readings for each zodiac sign, weekly energy updates for each of the elements like air signs, water signs, etc. Also some new moon, full moon, and a few other types of videos. So if you don't want to miss out on any of those and be notified immediately when they become available, if you give this video a little thumbs up and click that like button, also click that subscribe button, and that'll give you access to this notification bell. Once you go in there, you just select the all option, and then you'll be notified of any new videos that come out on this channel. Also, doing those things helps spread the love, because when you like a video, or you share a video, or you comment on a video, or subscribe to a channel, doing any of those things makes the YouTube algorithm so happy it wants to share the videos with other people as well. So if you feel inspired to do any of that, I greatly appreciate it. Also, these are general readings. If you want even more specific information for your life, I do offer personal readings, and that information is in the description box below. Right, Aquarians, as you go through this equinox period, in every single moment and day of your life, please know that you are unconditionally loved by the Creator of all things, and of course, I love you too. Have an amazing equinox. I'm sure I'll be talking to you very soon, though. So until then, you take care. All right, all my Aquarians, if you chose reading number 3, which is the baby to the adult, the calf, or the fawn to the stag, the powerful stag, then this is the reading for you. And we're going to start off by pulling a card here from the Into the Lonely Woods deck. And this is going to represent one half of the little scales of the balancing little scale here. One more time here while I destroy my little setup here. There we go. All right, so for our Aquarians that chose reading number 3, okay, they want that one right there. And you have the Beneath Opens Up to You, card number 23. So this is about diving deep into your emotions, doing that deep dive and understanding and delving into your emotional side. So we'll put that over here, and let me see what else that it talks about here in the book here. It's a little short one, so I like to read these. It says, your heart did not close, even though you were no longer in the small and safe spaces of the surface world. Into the great depths you plunged, your soul a tattered, your heart in pieces, your hands closed and tight. And now, look at you. You found your way in the endless beneath. Your hands have a gentle touch, and you draw to you the shyest of creatures who know you are above all an ally, kin, and friend to their rare nature. You've found a home amongst all the other misfits the world gave birth to, and you are creating your own destiny, which is clear, brighter, deeper, and more filled with joy and blessings than you could ever have imagined. Dive down into the hidden places, bright soul, and ready your heart for waves of joy. Love it. So that's one side. And then we're also going to look at the other side of the balance here and with these Earth Magic Oracle, and to see what over these next 3 months during this equinox are you going to be looking at balancing. One more time. All right. So for our Aquarians, I want this one right here. Didn't even need to finish my sentence. Yep, you've got the Milky Way. You've got perspective. I love that here. And I also just want to read the intro to this one. It says the Milky Way is said to be one of billions of galaxies in the observable universe. It contains between 200 to 400 billion stars, the one most familiar to us being our sun, of course. The oldest star in our galaxy is 13.2 billion years old, said to be nearly as old as the universe itself. And the Earth is about 4.5 billion years old. Distances are measured in light years, and the Milky Way galaxy is believed to be 100,000 light years in diameter. The enormity and vastness stagger the mind and challenge the imagination, yet it also gives us some notion of where we fit in to all of this. Considered from this perspective, it says perspective here, our usual frame of reference is put to the task. We're faced with the choice of abandoning our myopic vision in favor of seeing and accepting the bigger picture, or we can just allow ourselves to be overwhelmed by a sense of smallness and helplessness. Yet know that we're composed of material from those very stars that inhabit the Milky Way. Thus, we're connected to Earth and the entire universe at all times in life and death. And I love that this one is more about our perspective. And in relation to this balancing that's going on here, this is about the feeling of smallness, this perspective that we have of being worthless and useless and very, very small. Because this is the transition that happens when you do the dive into your emotions, into those ways that you felt about things, and into this perspective and like kind of the ripples that this perspective had in your life. That's when you found that even, that's why the little things in life, like it talked about, can approach you and can feel like they're big because you have experienced smallness. You understand your largeness, that you can have compassion and empathy for those other things that feel small. And so I really feel like that's this balancing that's going to be going on over these 3 months. Also wanted to mention here, because you're Aquarian, and it talked about stars in here, the star card in the major arcana actually is Aquarius. So this does represent that this journey in here, and the whole reason why you're experiencing this, you happened on purpose for a purpose. You are a star. You are the symbol of hope for so many, for yourself, but for so many as well. So we'll see if the star card pops up and if there's anything else on here. But we're, of course, going to dive deeper, and we're going to look into the Black Tarot, which these are going to represent messages from your shadow. And your shadow is like your tour guide in this amusement park of fear rides that we're going through in this human experience. And they're the game master. They keep us in the game, but they also know the game. And they're a piece of us. They are part of us. But they want to bring information to help us on our journey. Because if you look at, like, this is your conscious world. This is everything that you know of that's, right there in front of your face. This would be the subconscious. This is the stuff underneath the surface, right? These are the programs that are still running behind the scenes, that are cycling, that are impacting us, but we're not aware of them because they're not in our face. They're below the surface. And so these are the truths that your shadow wants you to know around this balancing period here. Okay, that's your first one here. What else for our Aquarians that chose reading number 3? What else do you want them to know? Your shadows. Okay, you want that one, and that one, and that one. And we will start. Sorry, let me just arrange that over there. Here we go. So you have the 10 of Spheres, which would be the 10 of Pentacles. And so in your subconscious world, there is this feeling of abundance and this wholeness and this completeness that is really flowing underneath that surface, which underneath the surface here is where you're going to find that. So with this invitation over these 3 months to do your deep diving, it is going to be worth it for you, because you are going to find a completeness and a wholeness that's going to be reflected in the outside world. And it's going to be just so much more than you ever thought possible. And so your shadow wants you to know that this is like an end result, that this is the prize that it's worth for that deep diving. Otherwise, you're like, why would I want to do that? It's like, it's so worth it. So they are introducing this prize to you for this journey for you. And then you have the 6 of Spheres, which would be the 6 of Pentacles. And this is about the giving and receiving. It's about both hands, understanding, that I love this analogy that they gave about what you're learning through this process is what you're going to be able to give to others. So this is a gift that is being given to you. There's this desire, there's this drive within you in your subconscious to really be able to learn this feeling, learn this emotion, learn this wisdom in such a beautiful way that you're able to share it with so many others that feel so small that it actually does change things with them. And it's not the normal interpretation of that card, but just that's what they're wanting to say. So we channel their messages and we go with it, right? So I like that. On one hand, you have like 2 hands, a dark hand and a light hand. On one hand, you get to experience the darkness, but on the other hand, you get to be a light. And then you have the 7 of Spheres. So more spheres. You've just got all these pentacles. So the 7 of Pentacles is this understanding that you have this desire within you to grow things, and you've planted things, and you're doing a lot of this inner work. It is this message letting you know that it does take time to make it to the outside world, because we change from the inside out, not the outside in. And so there is this, actually the 7 of Spheres or 7 of Pentacles showed up in all 3 of these Aquarian readings. So it was meant for it to find you regardless of which one you picked, because they did want you to know that there's this message that, you can't change the world from the outside in. You can't go to someone and try to make them be something. You change the world by changing your heart, and because you don't see the world as it is anyway, you see the world as you are. So as you change in your heart, the outside world changes. And as you share the love, then that love sparks the love in someone else, and then that changes what they do in the outside world. So the change all happens from the inside out, both for yourself and for how you help others spark that love and that change within them. And it eventually rolls out to the outside world. But don't focus on what you're seeing in the outside world, because there's so much that is going on beneath the surface, okay? And then you have the Queen of Wands. And that is beautiful, because the wands is your drive, your ambition, your passion, your inspiration. It's also your energy and your spiritual energy. And the queen is very powerful because she is able to get stuff done. She's able to super direct her energy. But there's also this wonderful thing, because you're representing spiritual energy and she's the queen. All the queens and all the suits also have water energy with them that helps them connect to the spirit world. So it's kind of like this, you got the fire and the water of the spirit world mixing together to really give you this wonderful gut instinct that comes from your subconscious world. So it's really telling you, trust your gut, trust your intuition, trust in your ability to connect to the higher world, to connect to the higher realms, to connect to the spirit world, to the creator, to spirit, to your guardian angel, your angels and your spirit guides, your loved ones on the other side, your ancestors, any of those beings of unconditional love and light on the other side. You have this strong ability to connect with them. And I really feel like they're bringing in this perspective of the Milky Way too, that you are a star among millions of stars, and you are part of a whole that you just don't even comprehend yet, but that's all bellowing underneath the surface here for you. So when you feel those inklings of all those emotions and those feelings, now you know where they're kind of originating from. We're also going to pull cards here from the Naked Heart Tarot, and these are going to be messages from above, from the higher realms, from all those beings that I just talked about. And this is what they want you to know about this balancing between these perspectives, understanding the impact that you do have on the world based on what you have gone through in your life. So for Aquarius, okay. That chose reading number 3. What else do you have for them, please? Okay, I want those two. What else? Okay, put that in there. And anything else? Nope, I said none of those. So these are what we are going with here. And so we'll start off with the Heart of Pentacles. And so this would be the Queen of Pentacles, which is all about Mother Nature, Mother Nurture. So she is about new birth, about abundance in the outside world, feeling this overflow. So again, it's like right above the Ten of Pentacles. So this is this overflowing abundance. And again, there's this wonderful, because this is earth energy. It's also the water element, like I talked about, that all the queens have. And so you do have this intuition, this spiritness, this emotionalness that is flowing out into the world here. And they do want to let you know that this is you. You do have this, you appear to others as someone that's very grounded, but you also have this emotion that's going within you, which makes sense. I'm an Aquarian sun, so I understand what they're trying to say here, because we can often be told, being sun Aquarians, that we're emotionless, and it's not that we don't have emotion. We just are very grounded, and we're able to, like, we're water bearers, which water is emotions, and we have water containers. We're able to contain emotion and not have it spill out everywhere. And so without it spilling out everywhere, people are like, you don't have any. And we're like, yeah, shake my jug. See, do you hear it? It's in there. We really do have emotion. But we're also able to help others with that groundedness, and we have that compassion and stuff within us, like, we were talking about in that card. So that is what they're letting you know, that there is a purpose for all this and that you have a lot to give. Yeah, because then you have the Innocence of Pentacles, which would be the Page of Pentacles in the Standard Tarot. And that's about new opportunities, new things coming in from the outside world, and new messages as well. So you do have these opportunities that are being reflected, especially with the Six of Pentacles below it. You have this opportunity to give and to receive in the outside world here. And I really feel like, because this message was totally about transforming every one of your experiences to where you are, it's not necessarily like you're a teacher, but you are able, just by your life, just about having coffee with someone, they're just like, oh my God, you've just changed my whole viewpoint, because you share things that you've gone through and how you transformed it. So you do have these opportunities that are coming up during these next 3 months for that as well. Oh my gosh. And then you have the Movement of Pentacles, which would be the Knight of Pentacles. So this is, and it's right above the Seven of Pentacles too. So out of the Pentacles, the 2 cards, that would be about that life unfolds in seasons. The external world has its seasons. Everything takes time. Be patient. Things change from the inside out. That's these 2 cards. So, and right above one another. So it is letting you know that, just know that, a reminder, things change from the inside out. So when you're helping people and giving and doing and expressing this, just know that you are making an impact. You just won't see it as fast in the outside world than it's happening on the inside. There is also, especially with you having both the Page to the Knight to the Queen, you have all 3 of those. There is this understanding about your worth that's coming in these next 3 months. Seeing yourself in a totally different way. Seeing, like you're moving from this perspective of feeling like a little tiny, tiny little speck that's amongst everything else, to where you are this sun. You are this, with this depth that you go, that you are this star. You are this sun. You are a source of light for so many. So it's like you're almost like the center of a solar system. That's how confident you will have. Now, you're not going to be arrogant. Arrogance is, I am better than you are. Confidence is, I understand my amazingness. Arrogance slips over into the, I'm more amazing than you are. It's comparing yourself to others is where arrogance comes in. When you're just grasping and understanding yourself, then that's where the confidence comes in. And then you have the Innocence of Cups, which would be Page of Cups. And this would represent the beautiful chalice, the unconditional love, the Holy Grail. It contains the living waters. And the Page is about new emotions coming in, this newer level of feeling this love, which makes sense that you're finding this unconditional love from inside, which this depths that you're diving into, like this whale, you're able to dive deep into these emotions because of it, because you are finding the root and the foundation of your confidence is that you have connected to the unconditional love of back home, that you are unconditionally loved by the Creator of all things, by Spirit, by all those angels and spirit guides and loved ones on the other side. There's this massive, universe, this entire galaxy, Milky Way, loves you unconditionally and more, So I love that that's coming through there. And then what's this one here? Yeah, okay. So you have the Magician, which the Magician tells you that you have everything you need within you to express this special gift of unconditional love within you with the world. You have everything within you. Because you can see here, you have the infinity symbol here, which represents your infinite self. And you see you have the pentacles, of course. You've got the wand, you have the sword, and the cups. So you have all 4 suits. You have everything you need to be able to express this beautiful wisdom, this beautiful love, this beautiful confidence and awareness with the world. This change of perspective that you have, where you went from feeling so small to realizing how vast you really, really are. So I love that. Then your final card, or cards we're going to pull from these Aboriginal dreaming totems. This is just the final message for you from the Creator on what they want you to know for all you Aquarians that chose reading number 3. Okay, we want those two. What else? That one. Anything else? Okay, and last pass. Make it really obvious. Okay, that one. Excuse me. And so we'll start with this one here. Yep, wonderful. And that says, sometimes being too curious is just an excuse for being afraid to take risks and move forward. Don't use this as your excuse to miss out on something amazing. Yeah, so this transformation of moving from the smallness to the bigness. It's like, don't hold back. You've got so much. In fact, I want to do this here because this is your reward. You had this wholeness and this completeness is totally worth this deep dive. Yeah, because you have richness, which is all that abundance we were talking about with all these pentacles. Search further. The deeper you explore this issue, the more truth you will find. It will be well worth the effort. I'm going to put that one down here because that is so much of everything we talked about there. It's so worth it. Yeah, and that one talked about curiosity, and here we have curiosity again. I hear curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back. Anyway, this says, there is so much knowledge surrounding this decision you need to make. However, there are more options you have not yet considered. Slow down, and the right opportunity will present itself. So I'm going to put this one, actually I am going to put this one here because this is like these, slow down, things happen and unfold. Just do your inner search. Things on the outside world move slower. So just slow down and know that things will present itself in the right and exact proper timing, okay? Yeah, because here you are so brave. It's time to reel in your warrior spirit. Not all conflict has to be a fight. The wise warrior will choose their battles carefully, weighing up risk on the road to achievement. And I really feel like this bravery has to do with this change in perspective too, because it's not a small thing, small thing, right? It's not a small thing to be bold enough to go, I am a star in the center of a solar system. You know, people are like, what? And so it takes that courage, it takes that bravery to believe and to go on that journey, to dive deep, right? Because, you know, we're like, I don't know, there's a lot of scary things down there in the deep, but that's why they wanted to show you that this is what you get from it all. It's totally worth it. And the subconscious wanted to bring you these messages to give you that understanding of what's going on and what you're able to gain from it. And that they're with you, that you're never in this alone. You have that huge support team like we talked about from above. So you're never alone in this. And it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful journey during these 3 months. So I am excited for you Aquarians. I'm a Sun Aquarian, and I'm excited because I would have chosen number 3. I usually do when I choose other readings, and this makes total sense for all of us, and I love it. So, woohoo! I'm excited. All right, in addition to these readings, I want to let you know that we also offer monthly readings for each zodiac sign. Also, weekly updates, like energy updates for each of the elements, like air signs, water signs, etc., full moon, new moon readings, and a few other types of videos. So if you don't want to miss out on any of these and be notified immediately when they become available, if you give this video a little thumbs up and click that like button, also click that subscribe button, and that'll give you access to the notification bell. And when you go in there, you can select all, and then you'll be notified of any new videos that come out for the channel. Also, doing those things helps spread the love, because when you like a video or share a video or comment on a video or subscribe to a channel, the YouTube algorithm just gets so happy it wants to share those videos with other people as well. So if you feel so inspired to do any of that, I am grateful for that. Also, these are general readings. If you want even more specific information for your life, I do offer personal readings, and all that information is in the description box below. All right, my Aquarians, as you go through this amazing 3 months coming up and every second of every day of your life, please know that you are unconditionally loved by the Creator of all things. And of course, I love you too. Have an amazing equinox. I'm sure I'll be talking to you very soon. And until then, you take care.